What's going on, guys? It's your boy John the Liquidator coming back with another video. So it looked like Todd Monken is giving his final assessment of Shedeur Sanders and Dillon Gabriel with his last sit-down interview. Guys, for this one here, we got to go all the way up to Cleveland. Let's get it. Let's go. So it looked like the Cleveland Browns have released another interview with Todd Monken, man. And one thing I can say, they're giving him top priority with speaking with him and making sure he is addressing the fan base. We know there is a lot of issues going into the 2026 season, one being with the quarterback position. Just like I keep telling y'all, they're going to keep pushing this Deshaun Watson narrative for the Cleveland media. We called it last week, and they still pushing it, but we know what the real is. Now, something we have to pay attention to, and something I broke last night, was the Dillon Gabriel situation. There is many reports that Dillon Gabriel could be headed down to Atlanta. Just like I told y'all last night, they're getting rid of anything that had anybody to do with Kevin Stefanski. We seen his coaching staff be dismantled, and trust me when I tell you, we're going to see players being dismantled from this roster that was connected with him, and we know who's number one on that list. It got to be Dillon Gabriel, man. Now, just like I stated, Todd Monken has been speaking with the media. This interview came out yesterday. I synced it, man, but we had other stuff to talk about, so if you synced this already, I'm not going to play the whole thing, but we is going to check it out. So the Cleveland Browns have released this right here. This is another sit-down interview. It's about 30 minutes long. We'll probably watch about, I don't know, until I get tired of hearing about it.
Head coach of your Cleveland Browns, Todd Monken. And Todd, for me, this is a real treat. You and I got to know each other back in 2019. You spent some time in the radio studio. We've stayed in touch kind of before these games. And to now go full circle, be back here, and to fulfill your dream of being a head coach in the National Football League here with the Cleveland Browns. How are you feeling? This has to be wild.
I'm absolutely jacked. I mean, it's what you work for your whole life. Yeah. I mean, everything. It's surreal, really, to be honest. Playing Division III football, your dad's a high school coach. You never would envision down the road that you get to be one of 32 head coaches in the NFL, especially being the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. Man, it's awesome.
When you think about, your journey, because you were a head coach in college, obviously at Southern Mississippi, turned a program that had won no games into a team that was able to go to a bowl game, and then you come back to the league, offensive coordinator, go to Georgia, offensive coordinator. I heard you say you came back to the league hoping for this opportunity. So as you're going and having success and leading, the Ravens offense and leading Lamar to MVPs, was that something that you thought, okay, it's got to be close, and then here you finally have that breakthrough?
Sure. No, 100%. That's why I left Georgia. I came to the Ravens for a couple different reasons. Number one was the challenge of moving Lamar's needle from a running quarterback that could throw to a quarterback that can win throwing the football at the most critical times in a game. And we did that. Yeah. That was an ultimate challenge, okay? And hoping that he got signed back because we didn't know at the time. The second part was I wanted another opportunity to get to the NFL to become a head coach at the highest level. I'd done everything else. I've been a coordinator in college, been a head coach in Division I. I'd done everything else besides that. So you go back with that opportunity, not knowing if that would become available. What's interesting, when I left Georgia and got to the Ravens, George Gotsey was our tight end coach. And he's like, why would you ever leave Georgia to come to the NFL? It was the idea of coming back with the opportunity.
What is so special about that? Because you've led an offense, but to lead a whole football team, what's so special about that for you?
Oh, it's the connection with the whole team. I mean, and it's you.
Yeah.
What do you want? It really is. I mean, it's the connection with the whole team. You can't even explain it. Yeah. That, what do you want it to look like? That it's a reflection of you. It's your team. I mean, that's your team that's taking the field.
What do you want the identity of a Todd Monken-led National Football League team, a Todd Monken-led Cleveland Browns team to be?
It's real simple. It's, you want the effort and the execution to pop off the tape. That's it. It's really that simple. Execution trumps everything, but not without the effort needed that's required to win big.
Yeah. And that effort, I would imagine, all the stuff that goes into it that allows you to execute at that level when it matters the most.
It's not just game day.
Right.
It's every
It's all
day.
week.
Yeah. Correct. It's being intentional every single day, and confronting everything that gets in the way of winning football. Like I say that all the time. Coach Harbaugh used to say it. And I just, in my mind, confrontation gets a bad name. I do. I think that just like with my son, you know, discipline's the greatest form of love you can bestow upon anybody. Yeah. And I was going to confront anything that got in the way of him being the best version of himself. That's what we do with things we love. Yep. So I don't find that an issue. No. My job as head coach is to confront anything that gets in the way of winning football. And the key is, how do you do it without being confrontational? That's probably the biggest thing, is how do you go about making sure that anything that's below the line gets confronted? Because ultimately we're here for one thing, is that is compete for championships, build a roster and build a staff that can compete for championships every year. I mean, I don't find that difficult. Yeah. What's difficult is the process of getting to that point, and players and coaches understanding that it's not easy. This is the NFL. This is the best in the world. So you're always trying to, how do you gain advantages or percentages here or there that allows you to reach the ultimate goal?
For you, what was going through this process like? Because you've interviewed for other head coaching jobs and you've been close, but to actually go through this process, and then what was it like to get that call that, yes, Todd Monken, you will be the head coach of the Cleveland Browns?
What a great question. Very thorough. I give the Browns credit, very thorough. I think it is critically important when you're talking about the face of a multi-billion-dollar corporation that you try to get it right. And I think the way they went about it, I appreciate. Whether it was the initial Zoom meeting that we had, or then the in-person interview that took all day, or then the third opportunity I got to get in front of them, that at that point, I felt pretty assured that if I got the job, then I'm the one they wanted. They went through that exhausting process to get to that point, and when I got a message that asked if I could Zoom with them, I had a pretty good idea I was getting the job.
Wow.
Because they could have just called and said I didn't get it. You know, that's pretty simple. I had to ask them, I mean, can I come on with a sweatshirt, for God's sakes? You know, do I have to get dressed up again? All these interviews, the positive is I've updated my wardrobe.
That's good.
My suits and shirts. The negative is that, you know, I don't know when I'll wear them again. But the point is that, so I said, can I wear the sweatshirt? Okay. So
let's fast forward real quick.
Building that offense. Lamar texted me and said, congratulations, preservation defense. Excited about
this level, and obviously
got it from Nick. He's really saying, what the footwork scrambled, bro. Yeah. In a nice way, you know. It's like in the Monken household.
Let's see.
That and the reps that you.
Hold on.
Moments of why it's so important, why what you're doing is so critical at the most critical times in a game, of why you're doing what you're doing. Because you got to show them, and they got to understand why you're doing what you're doing, for them to have the buy-in, and why you're doing something so often that gives you, again, for the ability for it to show up on Saturday or Sunday. That's what it's about. That it's a byproduct of the work you put in and the reps that you put in every day.
Coming in here now, you're going to be.
So that was Todd Monken, man. Like I stated, it's about a 31-minute interview. You guys can check out the full interview over on the X account of the Cleveland Browns. Now, we have to talk about this next story very briefly. That is Tim Hasselbeck. Tim Hasselbeck has found himself in a crosshair with Cleveland Brown reporters, one being Rizzo, and many others speaking out about Tim Hasselbeck analysis of Shedeur Sanders. Let's react to this. Let's check this out. I have not seen this, so I'm very interested to see what he got to say. Let's roll.
Should Shedeur Sanders be the Cleveland Browns starting quarterback? Should they be building around that notion as they go into their offseason?
No, and they won't. And
wow.
I mean, that's just the reality of it. I'm sure he'll be on the roster because he's, on a rookie contract, or at least he'll be in the training camp roster. He's on a rookie contract from a year ago, much like Dylan Gabriel. Those guys, I would think, would add, the Browns would add, somebody with starter experience to compete, because there's just no way with just, probably what the evaluation has been of Shedeur, as the player in the pros now, as well as how he came into the league, that they would give him the opportunity I mean, quite frankly, I don't think he would even enter training camp as the second guy, on the roster. So I don't think that's how they'll operate. It's hard to become a head coach in the NFL, and if you do, you got to try to win with a quarterback, and most guys, including Todd Monken, aren't going to try to do it with somebody like Shedeur.
Sounds to me, Tim, like you're not convinced Shedeur Sanders has a starting quarterback job in his future, whether it's in Cleveland or anywhere.
No, it's how I felt about him coming out of college. I think that there are things he does at the position extremely well that you need to be able to do well to play in the National Football League. I actually think, that's the good side of it. I think the bad side of it for him, I just think physically there are limitations that he has as a player that don't know that anyone is building around that. Could he end up playing in the league for 10 years, in some role as a backup and then maybe get an opportunity to play? Sure, he could. But I don't think that anybody, listen, there isn't a single team of the 32 that would look at him right now and be like, yep, I want to build around that guy. It's not, I'm not saying that to be demeaning or mean. That is the reality of who he actually is as a player and how he is viewed, quite frankly, consensusly around the league.